Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm still chilling here in the Gold Saucer, but not as often as I used to. I'm kind of just logging on now and doing my daily scratchers, and then I log off again. Alright, stop right there past me. We need a little sidebar here. So, to put bluntly, here's some technical specs I'm gonna relate to all of you out there. I currently, if you haven't noticed, am using the same music audio from the single source that is allowing everyone to use their material on YouTube and etc. However, they are very limited in their style of music to electronic dance and hard rock. So my options are very limited. I'm not in a position to go buying a different set of music from anyone, so it's gonna stick around for a while until maybe I get into Bard and I try to make my own music. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I'm also having some more audio issues that I'm slowly fluctuating into. That's why it's taken me 3.5 weeks to get this episode out. It's a struggle for me. I've erased my audio for this one episode twice, and I hate it. It also makes it more human, I guess, that I'm not perfect on my recordings. You know, everyone's gotta make mistakes and they gotta admit to it. I'm only human. Alright, let's get back into the information. Yes, if you have noticed, I have learned how to do this camera thing. Kind of. Ooh. It's pretty useful, but I think it's what everyone uses for their thumbnails and the extra YouTube videos. It still has an issue where I can't tell if you could shift or pan around yourself, because you're always the center of the attention, but you can in editing fix this to some degree. I think I do need a green screen in the future to do any of that kind of flavor stuff. So yeah, it's been busy. I have touched in my absence a little bit of the MSQ. If everyone recalls, you fight Ifrit and Gul'dan, and then you go to Gridania to do a side mission, which leads you to a dungeon of saving the Sylphs as your ambassador. And then you have a second dungeon where you go to find the masked men who captured her in the first place. So by the time I go to Limsa Lamosa, I have in my mindset that I've got to do a dungeon or two before I trigger the next main MSQ. So what is this current story entitle? Well, it's you and Y'shtola hook up and go to find a dude who has beaten the primals before. And the person you meet, I immediately doubted because of his attire. I'm just like, there's no way you're the one that beat the primal. And it turned out that's correct. He was a follower of the actual dude who had stopped the primals. So in response to this, we go and hunt him down, but during the process of negotiation, Y'shtola insults him to the point where he doesn't want to help us. So we go, okay, what can we do to make up for this mistake? And he says, well, you could go and do my shopping. I'm just like, cool. I can see where the route goes in the MSQ then that people don't understand or like. So I do travel the world, find some ingredients in the farthest corners of the maps, which is a drag, and then I return to him and give him the materials that he requested. And from there, I then go to help some goblins. And by the time I get to this, I then go, oh, this is the dungeon. Nice. So I paused here because I started thinking when I was hanging out in the Gold Saucer. Well, to fill in the airtime between every 15 to 20 minutes in between events, there's plenty of things you could do. However, I decided that I would start crafting. And crafting is fun, but you get to a point in the levels where you have to get materials from separate trees. So I ended up just taking every job and taking all the crafting skills and gathering skills and trying to form them all together. So I'm basically working on my omni-crafting skills. There's not a lot of narration for the events, but it's all the same, just reskinned to go find materials to make a certain product and then find more materials and make another product. So I'm not going to show you any of that. And as I've been grinding away, I tried to get to level 30 because that is a minimum requirement to get a skill to desynthesize, if I can pronounce it. Desynthesize your materials, and I was under the impression you only need one class to get to level 30 to do this. But it turns out when I got my Weaver to 30, I only am allowed to desynthesize my Weaver type materials. And that will help, but my inventory is completely clogged from all the gathering resources I've done, as well as the materials I have made with these gathering resources to upgrade my skills. So to compensate for the lack of desynthesizing this gear, I have taken up a second retainer, and on the market now I could sort 40 pieces and sell them for a fine price, anywhere between honestly $500 or $100 to like $6,000. It's crazy how different the price is, but certain materials or gear, I guess, are used for the lottery systems or to turn in with your well, it's not a free company, whatever that thing is called. And yeah, I have just been chilling around and trying to grind for a bit, and I've got stuck on the idea for a good 3 or 4 weeks, but my friends started to hook back up on the weekends after our D&D sessions, and we started playing some games together. Unfortunately, the one that I loved to record but couldn't was Ready or Not. It just for some reason does not appreciate my computer running it and then alt-tabbing in between OBS and the game. So none of that happened. I then tried my hand with the boys at some Phasmophobia, which I would say don't do when you are being silly on purpose and drinking. Oh! In the room with me, I'm dead. Oh no, it just fucking scared the shit out of me. Oh, I hate that. It was so fast. It's in the kitchen for sure. And yeah, beyond all this, I've just hung out. It's a lot to grind, and I haven't had a full weekend or time set down to shoot the shit, or... So I've been busy trying to do things and maybe plan a little project for my parents. That's gonna take up a lot of my time in the future as well, but not yet. And I'm looking forward to sitting down for a couple hours and doing a major MSQ push, but I've been working on this recording for some reason with less footage is taking me way longer to do than any of the other previous episodes. I'm not even trying super hard to do the editing as super well, I'm just trying to deadpan get this out there. To get back on topic though, the reason I paused on the MSQ was because I looked at myself and my gear, and I was under the impression that I was incredibly underleveled, because I was a 38 with a bunch of 34 to 28 gear. And it was such a mishmash of appearance, and I knew none of their values would equate to the same. So I decided to try and find a dungeon that I could run repetitively and earn myself a nice set of armor, which I happened to do. Oh, and I love this set. It's my first actual standard set, and honestly, it's pretty baller. To acquire the set though, my first run of the dungeon, I was incredibly undergeared, and my healer pulled me through it miraculously. I have footage at the end of this that will prove that, and I'm sorry that I gotta shorten it for the length of this video. My first impression though of this dungeon was not so terrible. It was in fact the first different dungeon that you didn't just smack everything you come across and you actually do certain mechanics in the route to open doors and such. I thought that was a lovely, nice change of pace. The problem being that as I was doing this dungeon and finished collecting my gear, they activated a Moogle treasure trove, which by the time this gets out is already over. And it was the only dungeon I could do to gain currency for the said event. And I kind of, knowing that, didn't want to play it too much because I already upgraded my whole set of gear. Turn around to the last, I say, 2 days of this treasure trove, I picked up the pugilist and I ran him. He jumped really quick, and now he's already close to 40, I think, by the time I edit this footage. And he also has a full set of gear, so I don't know why people struggle or say, you know, rank up fast. There's no problem with ranking up in this game. It is so easy. Maybe at the higher levels, I don't know, but I'm not even pushing hard. I've disregarded the MSQ for a while and I'm doing fine as is. I can only imagine what will happen when I actually start grinding in it. So yeah, I hope you could all appreciate that I'm taking efforts to make this video and make the next one actual action and combat. I don't feel like I want to spoil the story for anyone. However, if you're watching this, that's my interpretation that this is the mix between the reviews and the reaction videos that are out there currently. Because like, sure, you might in the title say, I'm reacting to this dungeon. Or people will just say, play a dungeon. And this is the middle ground where you're gonna see some and just get some of the lore as much as I will. I still wish there was some kind of notebook about the creatures, but unless someone in the video can message me at the bottom of the description to where I could find that material, or if I unlock it in the future after I beat, like, say, Heavensward. I'm kind of getting distracted and I want to get back into this because it's just been so long. I'm trying to edit this so the next weekend, if I don't play with the crew, I'm gonna actually get back into the MSQ, and I hope I don't disappear for another month plus. Alright, I hope you all have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!